Morning, everyone. In the early morning meditation in our temple, we contemplate a Hwadu question at the end of silent sitting. Hwadu questioning or Hwadu meditation is one of the meditation methods for deepening our understanding of truth. Last month, we contemplated heaven and earth knows without knowing anything. What does this mean? Have you heard this question or have you thought about it? Let me read it once again. Heaven and earth knows without knowing anything. What does this mean? Here is my understanding of it. First, I will divide this question into two parts. Heaven and earth knows without knowing anything is the first. What does this mean is the next. Let's begin with the first one. Heaven and earth knows without knowing anything. In this sentence, you can substitute the universe for heaven and earth. Then it becomes, the universe knows without knowing anything. When you read this sentence carefully, you will notice that an object for knowing what is missing. Instead, a phrase, without knowing anything, is added, which has a key to understand the question. Without knowing anything tells us that there is no precondition for the universe to know a thing. It means that making a distinction between knowing and non-knowing is unnecessary. I think that when no distinction is made between two opposite qualities of a spiritual question, the statement refers to the absoluteness of truth. This analysis leads me to see that the universe is knowing itself. Let's take a look at the following idea. When we say that in non-dualism, neither wholesome nor unwholesome exists, what does this mean? Does this mean all is wholesome? Or does it mean all is unwholesome? Or it means it does not matter. What do you think? Some might think that it does not matter, but does it? If truth is capricious, like the temperatures in autumn, then we are in trouble. We no longer have a proper standard to model ourselves after. When something is so true, so obvious, we don't feel the need to say it is so. This is why making such differentiation invalidates when it comes to non-dualism. In non-dualism, only wholesomeness exists. Please note that truth never allows for wrongness within it. The absoluteness of truth means its high moral excellence. Again, the universe, heaven and earth, is the absoluteness of truth. It means the universe is nothing but pure awareness. And this is what I figured out from the sentence, heaven and earth knows without knowing anything. This conclusion comes from an intellectual approach to this Hwadu. What would happen then if I approach it through direct contemplation? The universe is still awareness. All is knowing. The outcome is the same. But the difference is that I won't use language to put my logic in order. Or I'd rather not express it. The only process I need is to drop any forms of language, any forms. Instead, I will simply reflect on the realm of nothingness. No matter how I approach this Hwadu about the universe, pure awareness, absolute knowing comes to me. When an action verb becomes a subject itself, the innate quality of truth is revealed. The universe is another name for knowing. At this point, I'd like you to follow me to the next part of this Hwadu. What does this mean? What does this mean? When we ask the same question more than one time, actually more than many times, the question and the quest deepens. When we deeply contemplate on something, the gesture of our inquiry becomes meditative, and to me, it becomes pragmatic. I've felt the need to find the missing block in this question. Simply put, knowing what? What does this awareness have to do with me? A few weeks ago, Diane introduced us to the 8 characteristics of heaven and earth. Those characteristics are summarized as being bright, steadfast, just, reasonable, vast, eternal, accepting, and completely free beyond the sense of self. What Master Sotaesan discovered from his great enlightenment was these qualities about the universe, about the truth. Only a greatly awakened Buddha can confidently share what they discover. It is important to understand that the 8 ways are innate elements in truth. In other words, they are the default value of the universe. What is more important is for us to realize our true nature as the same as the universe. We have the same qualities with the universe. And our intrinsic awareness always detects these qualities and tells us that we have them. So what? What is the point? My point is that we want to fully recover these qualities of being bright, steadfast, just, reasonable, vast, eternal, accepting, and absolutely free from the sense of self, and make them our own. But how? The first how is through modeling, and it means reset your mind. Inevitably, we need to reset our mind because we usually identify ourselves with ego-centered self. We have lived that way a long time, and so your ego will persistently stop you from resetting your mind to the default mode. Then what we need to do is the same thing again and again. We too persistently keep recovering the basic nature of our true self, like that of the universe. The second how is to use the awareness. And here is an idea for the second how. Let's circle our 6 sense faculties. I used circle as a verb here. Before I go into details, let me briefly share about kimchi. Yes, kimchi. Kimchi is soul food for Koreans. As a fermented dish, kimchi is famous for its pungency. If kimchi is loved by many people, it is because of its pungency. If some hesitate to try it, this is because of its pungency. Recently, I read an article about kimchi. In that article, a food writer, Eric Kim, suggested using kimchi as a verb. He said, "You can kimchi anything." In fact, this is a well-known fact for many Koreans. Along with cabbage kimchi, which is the most common type, we can kimchi various kinds of ingredients such as radish, cucumber, sesame, onion, potato stems, wild ferns, etc. You just name it. We can even kimchi fish. And I am serious. For your reference, Korea is peninsula, and we do know about seafood and what we can do with it. When a singular noun, kimchi, becomes a verb, its unique quality is phenomenally revived. If you kimchi your ingredients, you can enhance their own taste while maintaining a basic quality of fermentation. Kimchi as a verb makes this possible. Why am I sharing kimchi story here? This is because I would like to suggest that we can make the circle 일원상 over there into a verb. Just like kimchi. I'll use the word circle instead of 일원상 for the sake of myself. And let's see how this sounds. You can circle your eyes. You can circle your ears. Circle your nose. Circle your tongue. And circle your body. And of course, you want to circle your mind. When we make ourselves to be 일원상, the circle, what happens? We return home. We unite with our original nature. And more importantly, we use this grounded mind when we engage in our daily activities and myriad human affairs. The result is that our spirituality grows. Wisdom and blessings come our way. Our practice will benefit those around us, and so they become appreciative of what we do for them. Using circle, the 일원상 restores our own intrinsic qualities into our life. I know how my mom has been transformed through her practice. It was gradual and yet definite. Since she started attending a one Buddhist temple in her late 30s, she has become a better daughter for my grandmother, and at the same time has been an excellent mom for me and my brother. Her culminated spirituality shone most vividly when my grandmother passed away a few years ago. Each family has their own family dynamics. Many times, family dynamics can contribute to unnecessary arguments and disharmony. My family certainly has one. Because of this, even before my grandma passed away, many words were exchanged over the process of the funeral, deliverance services, and afterwards, and more. And my mom was deeply concerned about it all. However, when my grandma actually passed away, it was my mom who maintained her calm, centered mind and dealt with all the logistics wisely. That energy permeated other family members and made them voluntarily follow her guidance. My mom made my grandma's funeral the most beautiful, the most memorable one for all of my family. I see this power, this spiritual transformation coming from her daily practice. More specifically, it was her 일원상, the circle practice. When I say the circle practice, it means actively applying what we know as truth in our daily life. It does not mean that we soak ourselves in mere satisfaction over what we know about non-dualism. Throughout our everyday life, we want to embody our innate qualities of being bright, reasonable, vast, accepting, etc. The Heart Sutra emphasizes the realm of non-duality when it negates existence of our six sense organs. It says, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, and no mind. It is important to realize the empty nature of our ego self. But our practice should not stop there. Each moment, we need to come out to our reality. The practice of ilwansang can help. When ilwansang as a verb animates our six sense faculties, the idea of no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, and no mind becomes yes eyes, yes ears, yes nose, yes tongue, yes body, and yes mind. Quite rhythmical, right? So say yes to your mind and body and use them wisely. Use the original qualities that we share with the universe. Let's use our innate bright mind, steadfastness, reasonable discernment, vastness, and accepting heart, and free of thought mind. Negation is a step to reset our mind as a factory mode on empty mind. Affirmation is one step further to use the centered mind so we obtain benefits from our practice. When negations becomes affirmation, our practice bears fruit. Great enlightenment will come along with our ongoing practice in this way. So this is what I found out by reflecting on heaven and earth knows without knowing anything. What does this mean? I hope you contemplate this Hwadu question on your own and find your own answer that serves your need. I'm sure you will find this process quite joyful. Thank you.